It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate, oh yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And this week, we're waiting even longer for Morbius, Mike. We're sad.
Oh, shucks.
You thought this joke about you liking Morbius would be over this month, but no, we've got 3 more. We haven't done this since Turtles, right? Mm-hmm. But anyway, the X-Men is bringing back original voice actors for the cartoon.
Ooh, I'm assuming this is the 90s one, but I'll wait for the details in the show notes.
See the details. Warner wants to sell the CW.
Oh my gosh.
And more.
I didn't even know about that one.
Yeah.
We'll get into that, but man, I'm exhausted, Chris. The wife and I are moving into a new place. Mm-hmm. We got the keys yesterday. We got movers coming on Thursday. We're recording this on a Sunday, so I'm kind of in that weird zone of just like I have access to the new place, so we're moving stuff over at our leisure, but we also have movers coming on Thursday, so they're going to take the heavy stuff. So like I'm in moving limbo. Like I feel like I can't sit down and relax because there's always something to do until all of this is over with on Thursday. So by the time you're listening to next week's episode, hopefully all the audio is going to be just fine in the new place. We probably won't have a whole lot of stuff hung on the walls, but I'll see what I can do.
You're going to have a lot of cardboard boxes. Maybe you could just like put it over yourself in the microphone.
Exactly. I know I sent you a TikTok earlier this week of a voice actress who did a tour of her like kind of backyard studio. It was amazing. I would love to have that as a podcast studio. I don't remember who the voice actress was, but like it's this little additional dwelling unit in her backyard. It has double sliding doors. It was either 6 or 9 panes of glass on like the windows. It even has like a little loft above. Like I can't imagine she's sleeping in there like that. Her house is just steps away, but it even has like a little loft to chill. I'm just like, she's using it for voice acting. I would just love it to do podcasts.
Well, I mean, literally, I'd be like, oh, I want to take my Nintendo Switch out here and play some games or something. Like it's like a little getaway kind of thing, and she can work there too as a voice actress. It was really cool. That's one of the fun things about having all Apple products is when I open up Safari, it says shared with you from Mike, and I see the picture of that actress like every time I open up Safari now. So I'm like, that's a reminder of what we don't have. But that's fun.
It's goals. Well, I mean, you have a backyard, so you could theoretically do this if you wanted to. But I mean, we'll get to it here in a minute. But you don't just have a backyard; you also have a basement, which you've coined the Fungeon, and you have
the fun dungeon for people who don't get that reference.
Fun additions that you've been adding to it. But what else have you been up to, Chris?
Well, so in my basement, I have a theater, and this week I used that theater to watch the now available for, I think, digital purchase, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Have you had a chance to catch this yet, Mike?
I have not had a chance to catch it, but the kind of the spoiler has been spoiled for me already, and if anybody hasn't seen it yet, I won't let them know. But like a ghost, there is a ghost that pops up. I don't know where it does in the movie, but a very specific ghost.
There are ghosts all over this place. Believe me, it's called Ghostbusters for a reason. I will tell you, and this will come up in a topic later. But we are not Ghostbusters aficionados. This is not our wheelhouse, but we do have a listener, Adam, who he told me, I talked to him Saturday after I watched it. He's seen it 3 times now since it's come out.
So he must like it then.
yeah, and I will say, not having any affection for the other ones, like I don't love them, I don't obsess over them like other things. I had a really good time, Mike. I would recommend this movie, Ghostbusters Afterlife. We actually have a spoiler cast when we started doing those of the Ghostbusters. Was it 2016 version?
That sounds about right. Yeah.
And we said at the time, it's not a woke Ghostbusters, right? At no point did I'm like, oh my gosh, the cast is all females. It just felt like just a movie, and you know, like that was probably a bigger offense than the casting. It had nothing to do with this new one, and this one actually, you know, ties into the original Ghostbuster films. But I had a really good time. I think the actors are really good. Paul Rudd is a huge part of this, and he knocks it out of the park. You know, we love Paul Rudd on the show. He doesn't do anything wrong. So I highly recommend Ghostbusters Afterlife, Mike. And whether you have time before you move or after, it might be a couple weeks before you get to sit down and watch it. But it is available on Chrisflix for you. So anytime you do, I'd recommend if you're, you know, hopefully someone can find this and want to get it, because it's definitely worth it. So the next item on the list here is something I watched a couple weeks ago, and you just got around to watching this week, it looks like. So
yeah.
And was this based on the recommendation from me and friend of the show, Quentin?
Yeah, in the group chat, you guys were going on and on about Encanto, and I was like, oh no, I don't know if I can push back against the power of a group chat. I don't want to get anything spoiled. I should watch this as soon as possible. We watched it the other night, and it's a grand slam for me. It was so much fun. The music is great. I've already listened to the soundtrack twice already on trips back and forth to the new place. The songs are great. They stick in your head. And it's a whole lot of fun.
It's a very much, it feels like a Pixar film at its core, even though it's Disney animation, right? Like
the lines between Pixar and Disney animation are really starting to blur, and I don't think that's too crazy considering they're like owned by the same corporate empire, right? But I keep getting confused that when I'm watching something like Moana or Encanto, like I'm always looking for like, oh, where's the Pizza Planet truck? I'm like, no, that's wrong. It's not in this movie. I gotta look for different references and Easter eggs. So I don't know if the Easter eggs have been spotted for Encanto. I'm sure they have. But yeah, I love the songs. I love the animation. I'm not exactly like a super technical buff when it comes to like lighting on like CG movies, but I feel like this is the first time I ever noticed the lighting in a good way. So I don't know if there's a lighting professional that's just like, oh yeah, no, Encanto like really nailed it and knocked it out of the park. But I was like, man, there are some images in this that are just like striking. So big recommendation. And you know, you got Disney Plus already. We know you do if you're listening, so you can just go watch it for free. And I think I didn't see it here in the show notes, but you know, it doesn't often. Oh no, it is in the show notes. Yeah, we got another kind of Disney, Pixar animated Disney Plus thing that we'll talk about later in the show.
This one, Encanto, wasn't Pixar, so you wouldn't have any Easter eggs, sadly. The only one that we have, however, is part of the Alan Tudyk verse. Because he does make a cameo as a character in this.
Yeah, I was scrolling.
We should tell him. But
I was scrolling through the cast list of Encanto because like you get really enthralled with all of the voices, and I was surprised that beyond two people, I don't recognize any of the cast, and that just could be because maybe they're really famous in South America, and I'm just oblivious to the fact that they're mega famous south of the border, or who knows, maybe they're just like great voices and they put them in the movie. But I was pretty surprised to see like a Disney animated movie that really didn't have a whole lot of North American star power really kind of holding on to it. Maybe just Lin-Manuel Miranda doing the music was enough to get it made. I don't know, but it was great. Encanto, it's amazing. Go watch that.
But and then also, I mean, just before I know not Reno 911, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is one of your favorite shows, and Stephanie Beatriz is the main voice actress.
Yeah, like her. Basically, her and not Luis Guzman. I can't think.
John Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo. That's it. Yeah, he was the only. Those were the only two I really recognized. Yeah. And then Alan Tudyk was the voice of a toucan.
I was gonna say, don't tell him. Let him figure it out.
They never would have guessed it.
Wilmer Valderrama from that Sunny show.
Oh yeah. I remember. I had to scroll down a little bit to see him on there.
Yeah. The point of it is, voice actors are not still a good movie. I think it's a strong recommendation, and it's on Disney Plus. But the only reason you can tell Disney movies from Pixar movies anymore is because we'll talk about it later. But only Disney movies go to theaters, it seems like. So anyway,
Yeah.
I'm not. Go on. I'm not got to see this next show, so don't.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I only put this in here because I thought I was going to have enough to talk about at the top of the show, and I've only seen one episode so far of season 2 of The Witcher. And I just wanted to call out, there's this really, really great visual effect of a character in the first episode here. It's like this half man, half boar type of character that like has conversations and dialogue, and like they just really nailed like the animation and the special effects of like the boar on like the human like body, I guess is the best way to describe it. So like I was just really surprised. I don't know if this is just Netflix throwing a ton of money at Witcher season 2 with how popular the first season was, or who knows, maybe just VFX houses are just getting better and better and better at pulling this stuff off on TV budgets. But yeah, I was pretty shocked. It was a pretty good looking face.
Did they CGI off Henry Cavill's mustache?
I did not see a mustache.
Well, then it must have been really good.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm
but
kidding.
yeah, Witcher. Hopefully, I'll be reporting back more about The Witcher over the next couple of weeks because we just started it. But surprise, surprise, there is a new NBC network comedy, which is not something that often people talk about anymore because it's all about streaming. There's this show called American Auto, which, funny enough, we're watching on Hulu, and I'm sure it's also on Peacock, and it's hilarious. As of right now, there's 3 episodes available. I think it airs on Tuesdays, so maybe you can stream it on Wednesdays. It's just all about like this fictitious car company in Detroit, and about how a new CEO comes in and the higher up employees are trying to like wrangle and move them around because she used to run like a pharmaceutical company. There's the first episode is about them trying to announce like a self-driving car, and it's just really, really funny. The jokes just are really great. I laughed the entire episode, so I just thought I would soundboard a network comedy, which I feel like you're never going to see really trend anymore. So go catch American Auto, because I would be sad at the pace that the show's going now. I'd be really sad if they didn't get a second season because not enough people watched it. So go watch American Auto. It's NBC, so it's got to either be Peacock, Hulu, or I guess your antenna, right? Just plug an antenna in.
Rabbit ears. That's broadcast television.
Yeah,
for
you can
right
just
there.
watch it. So that's American Auto. But Chris,
Yes.
we achieved something this week, didn't we? For a limited time offer.
I did. I'm glad I sent it to you because I'm like I don't know if Mike knows about this. We haven't really talked about it outside of, I don't think ever. But Taco Bell took a walk on the wild side. It thought outside the bun even further, and gave us chicken wings for the until Wednesday of next week, this coming week, after 2 p.m. only. You can get chicken wings at Taco Bell covered in their it's kind of a Mexican seasoning
some sort of
kind of thing.
proprietary like dry seasoning. Like these are dry wings. I'm honestly shocked to hear that they even have wings because I thought we were in a chicken wing shortage. I don't know if that's over by the fact that they have them now, but they give them to you in like this nondescript brown box.
It is the most boring box I've ever seen in my life. Doesn't even say Taco Bell on it. Like that, I was like, what's going on here?
And then when you sent me a picture that you got them, I was like, okay, I got to see if I can get a shot at getting them, because I mean, this is Los Angeles. Not only do I just have to fight a higher density of people per Taco Bell, but also I have to fight like influencers that want to eat them and put them up on like their TikTok and YouTube accounts. So I was shocked the first Taco Bell I tried. I was like, do you have the wings? They're like, yeah, we got the wings. So very easy. I think I sent you the exact same picture that you sent me, box open. They
look the exact same. Like the wings even in the box look the exact same.
Coast to coast, identical product. What did you think about these wings, man?
So I will tell you, while I don't think the ones I had, the dry seasoning was extremely flavorful, these were pretty solid wings, man. Whoever is up in their test kitchen at Taco Bell coming up, mixing and matching some of the stuff, this is the lane they should stay in, 100% right here, because I think it was great. Now, I'm not a big fan of the dipping sauce either. Did you use a lot of the dipping sauce?
Yeah, that's actually one thing I was surprised. I like the spicy ranch. I've had it on many Taco Bell products, but I felt like I didn't need it, and it didn't jive super well with the experience, which is strange because I love dipping wings in like ranch or blue cheese.
every one of my wings, I was able to get all of the meat off the bones and leave the bones, because these are not boneless wings. I just want to get that away. These aren't boneless wings you're getting. These are actually like bone-in wings. You get the drumsticks and the wing portions in here. Seasoned, crisp to perfection. I was able to literally get all the meat off the bones for all 5 of them. They're all consistent across the board. And I think they're great. I think the price is a little high for the 5 wings you get in this little nondescript box. It's not something I'm going to get every time, but it is a treat, I believe. Now, what would you thought if they had the nacho fried dipping sauce?
Man, I wanted just honestly like. It's an A+ chicken wing from like a fast food restaurant. I've never had anything as close to as crispy as this when it comes to a chicken wing. But yeah, it needed more just Taco Belliness, right? Like I was expecting them to have like a volcano flavored one, that was spicy, and then it seems like they were just kind of like, what do we got in the kitchen? Well, we got this ranch, right? Okay, do we have any seasoning? Yeah. Go across the street, find a frozen chicken wing, and throw it in our fryer. So, I guess the only reason the chicken wings make it on the show is because it's a week-long promotion, and we just both happen to find them.
Yeah, and we haven't talked about food a little bit. I think during the pandemic that kind of prevented us from going out and trying all the foods. But I thought the Taco Bell chicken wings were pretty fun. It was just a fun little thing to do, and it's not something I think they'll do for long. They'll probably bring it back once a year. You think?
Yeah,
like with the
and
nacho fries.
It's strange too because you can't really Taco Bellify the ingredient because you can't really take the meat off of the bone and like throw it in a taco. Like the employee's never gonna do that, right? So you're kind of just like, it's weird. I've never just ordered like an ingredient at Taco Bell, which is kind of what it feels like. But yeah, I would love different kind of like powders. But also, in general, I'm a fan of sauced wings. So if they could give me like some sort of Taco Belly sauce that I could kind of roll them around in, shake them up in the box, I'd be down with that.
Yeah. I think there's an opportunity to grow from here, but it's a great first test at proving that, again, I think they can cook the wings consistently, and again, that they're equal across the board for both of us is pretty good. So for that. And then the last thing you kind of mentioned this at the thing, I was my friend John, who I actually met post an arcade expo, which we have here in Louisville, Kentucky, like 5-6 years ago. We met at an IHOP between some mutual friends, and I've been friends with him ever since. I worked with him for a while too. He had a birthday, and at his birthday we have a video game contest. He is a retro video game connoisseur. He wheels and deals in the authentic stuff, not the emulation.
Wheels and deals.
No, seriously, he does it. His brother, whose house we were actually at, and I sent you photos of, wheels and deals even farther. He will go buy full-size arcade cabinets, at discounts, fix them up, sell them at arcade expos, and back and forth, and so on and so forth. It's ridiculous. But not only that, he does the retro consoles as well. Like, I think you saw, like, we had what was that? A Sega Saturn. We had an actual Famicom Duo from Japan in there. There were all sorts of crazy stuff. Last night we played between 2 and midnight, and then there's these specific games every year. We have a list of games for every console, and we all rotate and write down your high score, right, between all the games whoever wins. I actually got the high score. I won last night because technically only high score I had was in Tony Hawk, but I was consistently in the top 5 for every other game, so I felt pretty good about that. But I showed you, Mike. I mean, like, this guy keeps authentic boxes of consoles, the controllers. It's all meticulously kept. Like, it was very much. He just bought a house last summer, right out of the '70s, with the wood paneling and the tile floor in the basement.
He's crazy. even got like a rack. It looks like he stole from a GameStop or something. And he's got video games hanging out in there.
Oh yeah, he I think the company he worked for, when GameStop's closed down, like, he's able to go in and like buy all the furnishings they're getting rid of first, so he's got a lot of that stuff. But I mean, it was just so fun to kind of go back and look and play games with these guys, and kind of just have a really, really good time. He's got, as you can tell, he's got all the CRT TVs, right? Like, you have to have the CRT TVs to work with a lot of these older systems, and that was really crazy. And you can't tell. One of my favorite games I found this year is a system called 3DO. It's got a light gun game, and you can't see it, but it's called Drug Wars. It was like an anti-drug video game they made back in the day, and it's like one of those laserdisc games. So like all the whole game is an FMV, right? Where it like someone steps out and shoots, and you have like a split second to shoot them with the light gun. And then if you die, it cuts to someone else saying, well, you died. That's not good now, is it? But if you get them, the video keeps playing to the next person kind of thing. Like the old point and click games. It was really fun. I just gave a shout. These are the guys who inspired me to build my basement the way it is. So like I'm just I love being around people playing old video games. It's really, really good time. So sharing that, and happy birthday, John. Good for you. So let's jump into the news. The news is Spider-Man. Mike, Spider-Man, No Way Home. I think we talked about last week. I was able to pre-order the Steelbook already, but it doesn't have a release date. But it has crossed $1.5 billion
making
in
money.
the world. It was one. I actually wrote this down earlier this morning as 1.4, but it went over 1.5 just today alone. So that is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, like this is. I wouldn't say it's safe to go back to the movie theaters by any means, but this one is breaking through that and proving the staying power of Spider-Man. If you will,
you were fanboying out the other day over John Watts.
Yeah.
And making this Spider-Man trilogy, which, what did you say? It was the first director in
Marvel to do a full trilogy. And like we said, when we talk about Spider-Man, we never mention the director. Like we always talk about, directors of the other movies. Like when we think Thor, we now think Taika Waititi, right? We always have to mention those hand in hand. But John Watts, he just like slid under the radar as like knocking it out of the park with these movies. And then his next movie with Marvel is literally Fantastic Four. So I have full faith in this man to go on and keep doing this. So
yeah, it does make you wonder if the next kind of chapter of Spider-Man might be directed by somebody else. I wouldn't be surprised also if that's what John Watts would do, right? Copping onto Fantastic Four, might not even have time, to do anything for Sony over there with the next Spider-Man. But hopefully they get somebody good in there to pick up the next chapter, which I would only assume is going to involve Miles at some point in time, whether it's quick or not. Miles is definitely going to be in this universe.
Yeah, I mean, they've kind of alluded to it a little bit in this one, like offhanded comments. We've had his uncle Aaron Davis in the first one, played by Donald Glover. It's just a matter of time. But the idea is Miles going to be in this universe, or are they going to take how they've really introduced Miles in the comic books and in the Spider-Verse, make him from another universe and cross him over into this one? Is my question at the end of the day, right? Like, will they do it like they've always done them, or will they just start him off in this and kind of, do a baton passing? I don't think Captain Marvel is doing that with the Marvels, but it's interesting that, they've got Captain Marvel and then a Miss Marvel, teaming up in the next movie, if you will. Very, very similar to that. I was trying to pull up the new all-time list, but again, I forget how to do this on Box Office Mojo because I'm just an idiot.
I think the new website that a lot of people are using is called The Numbers. I think that's kind of like the hot new website that people are going to that have kind of fallen out of love with Box Office Mojo. It's been a while since I've been to either of the sites though. So
yeah, well, either way, this is now Spider-Man's number 8 worldwide overall. Then domestically it is number 6. So I believe, yeah. So overseas, it's gaining a little more traction. I think it's kind of tapering off here in the States due to it's been almost a month coming up. So that means it's past the original Avengers, which is celebrating its 10-year anniversary this year. It's got about 100 million before it turns The Lion King from John.
Man, it's crazy. Threading. I mean, it's almost purely luck, right? It's really threading the needle on the release date of the movie. Even when the movie was coming out, people were still talking about Omicron. It was in the news. It was starting to be a thing. And now things are starting to shut down from Omicron spreading over the holidays. And like we're about to talk about, the movie theaters are starting to seize up again. So they got, I don't even know if it's luck, if it's strategy, if the marketers over there know something that we don't know, but yeah, all coalesced into a lot of money. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's true. In a perfect storm, if you will, because nobody else really made that much. I think James Bond was close, but this kind of shattered James Bond by a long shot. But like you said, upcoming cases, things are starting to shut down and close down again. And that has led to the 6th or 7th delay of Morbius.
Yeah, I went with 7 on the show art just because it seems more ludicrous, but I feel like I've seen both numbers. Basically, the take home here is the movie has been delayed so many times, and nobody really historically keeps track of when a movie gets delayed, right? Nobody's like tallying, like no one has a spreadsheet, like no one has a Wikipedia page that's like really clearly stating when it was going to come out, because people just assume this is the release date. This is when it's going to come out. I don't need to log this in the history books, but yeah, it's been delayed so many times. We don't even know if it's 6 or 7.
Right. Exactly. It's you can probably go back and find even more, but this is it's been delayed till April 1st, and I was like, is this an April Fool's joke kind of thing? Like, I thought people were like, oh, we're just gonna mess with everybody. No, it's literally delayed till April 1st of 2022. And it has now passed New Mutants in terms of number of delays it has had, and we gave New Mutants hell based on that. And it's not to say New Mutants is the worst or the best, X-Men movie. It's not. I don't think this is the quality of Morbius, no matter how much hell we give it. It's not. I don't think it's delayed for quality. It's just delayed due to health concerns around the world. And also, Spider-Man would probably still be making more money than Morbius if it came out at the same time they were in theaters. Like, really, I think it would kind of knock it back a little bit. So that takes the wind out of my sails, because I thought they would do a re-release of Spider-Man with a Morbius extra end credit scene.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if a film like Morbius gets a kind of week of trailer, like go in the theaters now, go watch it, and then they just are throwing spoilers left and right in the trailer. Look, here's all the Spider-Man Venom Easter eggs to get you to go to the theater. Please buy a ticket for this movie that was delayed 7 times.
Yeah, Spider-Man is also the number one Sony movie domestically by like a long shot, like several $100,000 or $1 million. Morbius was next. The next one on that list is the other Tom Holland starring vehicle, Uncharted. So will Uncharted also be delayed from February if Sony is concerned about not being able to open up enough theaters for that movie as well? It's gonna be my question. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, but all we know, Morbius is now in April. It'll sit right between Batman and Doctor Strange. It's going to live in that sweet spot, right, when we're all just talking about 2 really exciting movies we're all excited for. The Blade movie, we're going to move along here, is coming out eventually. We've not heard a lot about it since it was originally announced at Comic-Con in 2019. However, they're casting for a character called Faiza. It's a she. It's an actress. An actress with fighting experience is preferred. Now, in the comic books, there's a Dr. Faiza Hussain, who was a Muslim woman who wielded the sword Excalibur and took on the name Excalibur in the comic books. And she's also fought Dracula and worked with Dane Whitman in the comic books. Now, the end credit scene of Eternals, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you what it is, because it's going to be on Disney this week and doesn't really ruin anything, alludes to the Ebony Blade and Blade at the same time. So this character, Dr. Faiza Hussain, who wielded Excalibur, does this mean Blade is leaning into the England mythical side of Marvel?
Know what they did? They were just like, okay, what did the last Blade movies do? Well, they really did vampires, because that's what it's all about. It's like, no, we're going a different direction. Literal. It's about blades. We're going to put as many blades in this movie as possible, all the swords, and the guy's going to be named Blade. Yeah. There's going to be vampires that gets killed by blades. Like, I'm already imagining like an action sequence, 3 characters, 3 swords, mowing down vampires. I mean, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it. I mean, I also think, it's very interesting. They are leaning into Arthurian legend, though, like quite heavily for like the Black Knight. They allude to the Black Knight with the Ebony Blade and Dane Whitman. A woman who wields Excalibur and goes by the name Excalibur. Like, are we gonna is this the next step of Marvel where they New York is oversaturated with superheroes? Let's go to England and see what we got going on.
It works for the Great British Bake Off, right? The second the second that Americans are watching something out of their own country, it already has a little bit more mystique to it, and that's just in a baking show. So I think this will work well.
We call it the Great British Blade Off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what we do. And we've already bought a whole theater full of tickets for ourselves.
Sold.
So yeah, that's just interesting for casting. So they're moving along with Blade. I'm feeling like it's a 2024 release at this rate. So we'll knock on wood. Back to that point, Eternals will literally be on Disney Plus. I believe on Wednesday, the 12th, January 12th, it will be on there. So if you didn't catch it because you're afraid to go to the theaters, or you already it's a holiday season, whatever, just word of mouth didn't sell you on it, now's your chance to watch it for free with your Disney Plus subscription this week. So catch that, because whether you like it or not, those characters probably have seeds planted in the Marvel universe down the road. So you can do that, have some good times with it. Echo, the character from Hawkeye, who's introduced to Hawkeye, she has a show coming up that they announced several months ago. And this is very much rumor, that writers from the Netflix's Punisher and Daredevil series have signed on for this one as writers as well.
Well,
so
they got to go somewhere, right?
Yeah. So Ken Christensen, who worked on both Punisher seasons, and Dara Resnick, who worked on Daredevil season 3, have signed on. Now, this doesn't mean that we're getting the Punisher and we're getting Daredevil in these shows. By any means, it doesn't mean that. But it does mean they have a working on street level superheroes. Daredevil does have powers, but Punisher doesn't. He just has guns. So.
Also, just quality too, right? One thing that I didn't particularly enjoy about the Hawkeye series that did kind of revolve a little bit around the character of Echo was I didn't really think the whole crime aspect of it really worked for me. But there's a lot of crime in Punisher and Daredevil that worked really, really well for me, that I really enjoyed. There's like a whole conspiracy kind of underlying with the Punisher show. And this is going to blow your mind, Chris, because usually when we're talking to this show, we're kind of talking to the audience, and we just assume that they're up to date on everything, right? We just assume that they're watching everything that we're watching. They're hardcore fans as well. And that probably is the case. But I think sometimes we forget about the edge cases out there, because I was talking to a friend the other week, and he was telling me he has 2 kids, right? He's tired of watching like kid shows. Like apparently there's something called Blippi, which is driving him crazy. And if he told me if he had a chance, he would kill the man named Blippi because he can't stand him anymore. But he told me he finally found some peace and quiet and some alone time during the break. And what's the one thing that he wanted to rewatch? And it was the Punisher series on Netflix. He wanted to go back and he wanted to rewatch that. I don't know if he just wanted the total opposite of kids television, which is John Bernthal like murking a bunch of fools on TV. But I just thought it was like strange. Like, my friend in question, doesn't really keep up a whole lot with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He just has Netflix. He knows that there's a show on there that he likes. It's called The Punisher. He knows Punishers from the comic books and stuff like that. So I'm sure he'll be pretty stoked if the news ever comes across his desk that a Punisher writer is heading on over to a show called Echo, which I'm sure he probably hasn't even watched Hawkeye either. He's just too busy raising kids. I don't blame him for that. But I was just like shocked that oh yeah, I forgot. Punisher's a really good show, and I'm not surprised people are going back to rewatch it.
Yeah. I never saw the second season. Show my cards a little bit on it. It's not because I feel like it was. The first one was bad. It was just kind of at the point where they started canceling everything.
Yeah, you felt like you kind of like got to divest like a stock investor, right? No, sell.
Yeah, this is fine, but this isn't really going anywhere, like we talk about. So, I mean, Punisher's great. Daredevil season 3, I think a lot of people were happy. It kind of went back to the basics with it. A lot more Kingpin. So I mean, there's opportunity here for them to take Echo a little bit further. Like you said, we didn't really learn a lot about her other than like a quick flashback for her motivation in this series for Hawkeye. So hopefully, we can see again what crime Echo has been involved in, where she got to where she is as like the leader of the tracksuit mafia, and so on and so forth, in her upcoming show, which I still. I'm excited for it, but we have nothing else on when this is happening, so we'll keep you guys posted. On Disney Plus as well, we are expecting X-Men 97 to come back next year as well. When they announced that, literally, it wasn't Disney Plus Day. It was just like, what was it? When did they announce all that stuff? Like in the middle of the year, kind of thing.
I feel like I don't even remember anymore.
It was Disney Plus Day was like disappointing as hell. So like I don't think this was part of it. But anyway. they're revisiting the X-Men animated series, and they are actually getting some of the voice actors back in here. One of them, the biggest one, is of course Wolverine. This is where everyone came to love Wolverine. If you didn't read comic books, and Cal Dodd, who voiced him in '90s, will be returning to voice him in the upcoming show.
Nice.
With that, they also said that the voice of Rogue, Lenore Zahn, will also be coming back as well. I can hear Rogue's voice in my head.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Very, very much, Southern Belle kind of thing. And then the other characters they also mentioned that the show will focus on include Beast, Jean Grey, Gambit, Storm, Nightcrawler, and Mr. Sinister. So
the first X-Men property in a while that's promising Mr. Sinister, and we'll probably finally see it because it was in the original X-Men '90s show.
The Essex Foundation or whatever corporation will tease him forever.
No more hints and nods and winks. He'll actually be there.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully they bring him into he'd be great in one of the movies too with Marvel, I believe. But yeah, I'm excited for X-Men '97. It's rough to go back and watch those old ones because they feel of the '90s. They feel like a Saturday morning Fox show where they try to make them as fast as possible. So it's a little rough to go back and visit them, but it is still charming because I did grow up watching those. Thor, Love, and Thunder. There is a new Marvel poster with all the group out there, Mike, that's starting to hit. And with this, it's showing off some of the characters. We see in this photo Miss Marvel a little bit to the left. You can see what appears to be a new Black Panther a little bit to the right there, right? Includes Shang-Chi, who's new to the MCU as of this year. But also, we see a helmeted Jane Foster Thor, and then our regular Chris Hemsworth Thor in bright yellow and bright blue armor and helmet.
Yeah, this is like a poster gate all over again, right? When we were revealed the majestic goats that drive Thor around. It took me a minute to figure out why this feels so different, and then I figured it out. There's now pieces of the helmet that cover the eyes, right? Mm-hmm. That's new, I believe, to like this Asgardian armor. I don't know if other characters like in Asgard, right, have something like this, but it's the first time they've covered up Hemsworth's face, right? Like he's worth all the money. I don't know why you cover it up, but yeah, it looks like he's ready for like a big battle.
And I will tell you, the proportions of the helmet are a little off because this is concept art. It looks like they had a picture of Chris Hemsworth and like, hey, just kind of draw a helmet around it a little bit. Like the helmet's kind of turned a little bit more than his face is in the photo. But there's not really a lot we can draw out of this. But the bright blue and the bright yellow Asgardian stuff, and then Jane Foster's got the silver and red look behind him.
Yeah, I was analyzing this a lot. The funniest thing to me is the icon that's above Star-Lord's head, because it's clearly a don't take pictures of this. It's like the red circle with the line through it, and there's a camera icon behind it, and somebody did not listen to the rules.
No. The first time you tell someone not to take a picture of it, they're like, well, why not? I'm going to take a photo of this. So
and it's hard to tell what this poster is supposed to be. Like, is it just a general poster that you sell at Walmart that you put up in your like 12-year-old's bedroom? Mm-hmm. Is this supposed to be promoting like the next phase of Marvel because we see these new versions of Thor and Jane? Because it seems to be like a bit of a mishmash, right? That's what I'm saying.
Concept art.
Because it looks like Spider-Man's in his like iron spider suit, but if you have seen the new Spider-Man movie, it looks like he has transitioned to a new type of suit moving forward. So that's not there. It shows in the background. It shows Iron Man and Cap kind of in like this transparency because they have left us. But then also Gamora's kind of transparent out, but she's still around. And the one that we have is not even from another dimension. She's just from
the past.
She's just skipped forward in time. So I don't know what the theme of this poster is supposed to be. I'm very confused.
And I think it is. They make those Marvel posters that they've had like all the comic book characters, and they started updating them to be more MCU prevalent. Because I think it is the 2022 up through 2022, or this was supposed to be the end of 2021 poster of the characters, because you see kind of Scarlet Witch's hair in the right hand side above Star-Lord there. So she's very prominent. The Hulk, Star-Lord, Miss Marvel, who we've only briefly seen officially there as well. And I believe, again, Black Panther, I think, is like the biggest question mark. Like who's in this outfit? Kind of thing. So
and they're still showing Groot as a teenager as well. So I was kind of under the assumption he wouldn't be a teenager once we see him again, but who knows? Maybe they'll show him in transition.
Well, he did. I mean, I don't know how much time passed, but if they pick up kind of right where the in-game ends, he was a teenager because he was dusted for 5 years. So that's what he came back as. So I don't know how fast they'll grow up, but I agree. We'll see where they are. But I don't know what's going on here. I want to see the full poster, but it is, like you said, a mismatch of literally photos of the actors, like the Dora Milaje over here. What's her name? I can't think of the character's name. And then the concept art from everybody else going on. So
I can tell you one thing: I wasn't expecting another poster leak for this movie. That's for sure.
Yeah, poster. It's gonna be posters all day, all year, man. Just posters every week. We'll have something on here. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. We talked about Bill Murray being in this a couple months ago, and then he might be some part of the microverse. Well, on this week, because Ghostbusters has a new movie, Bill Murray's obviously making rounds. While it hits, availability to purchase, he says that his power is being a bad guy in this movie. So while he is not Kang and not the main villain, he could just be an asshole. Because that's what Bill Murray does. So
yeah, he's good at doing that.
He could still be the microverse dude who's just a dick. He could literally be Scott's dad if he's just a bad guy, like, oh, he's a bad dad, kind of thing. I don't know. We don't know where he's going to be, but Bill Murray, hopefully he makes it through this year. We're losing a lot of older celebrities, and not older celebrities, kind of as we go through 2022 so far. Kind of sucks. Turning Red is the upcoming Pixar movie, the next one on the list, where it's a girl is, I think, cursed or something to turn into a red panda, right? I don't know much about this film. The trailers for Pixar are usually worse than the actual movie. We know this. We prepare ourselves for this every year. But the news this week was that literally it is skipping theaters and going straight to Disney Plus. So being the third Pixar film in a row to do this.
It's strange. I feel like somebody out there knows something that I don't, because one thing that I have heard about Omicron, which a lot of people are confirming, is that it hits fast, it hits hard, and it moves quickly. So people have been expecting that it's going to spike here, or it's going to reach its peak in America, maybe possibly this week or next week. And Turning Red is supposed to come out in March. Mm-hmm. Like that's quite a ways away. So I would hope and pray and cross my fingers that we will be through the biggest the hurdle of Omicron. So I don't know. Maybe this is geared towards kids, and Omicron is the first wave that's really starting to put kids at risk more. So maybe they think, this is the safest thing to do.
Well, I think it's a little short-sighted, thought process. This is a very an Oriental film, if you will. Red Pandas. The voice cast is I believe Chinese American. Or Chinese based, so I think it's the worldwide pandemic that's affecting this one rather than the American pandemic.
I don't know. The only thing that I could be thinking, and this kind of maybe goes against because Encanto was available on Disney Plus. I'm not 100% sure, but maybe Disney Plus just has the analytics, and they're just like, man, when we put these brand new kids movies on Disney Plus, people are watching them like gangbusters. We are getting new subscriptions. Kids are yelling at their parents to make sure they renew the Disney Plus subscription or get them on there. Maybe this is really, really driving it, and it's really not that big of a deal to them if they have to put it on the platform or not. But I'll be watching it either way. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, that's when I looked up the Deadline article that announced it. It was talking about the international markets because Disney Plus isn't international as much. So it's just an interesting choice in how they're doing this. But like I said, it's weird that again, Encanto went to theaters a couple months ago, right? And they're going back on it. It's back and forth. I think Pixar films would do better in theaters, honestly, but you never know. But if they're getting kids and people to subscribe, my mom actually called me on Thursday. She's like, she's wanting to watch something, or my dad's wanting to watch something. It's on National Geographic, that Will Smith one that's coming out, right? And she was like, what's the cheapest way to get Disney Plus? I'm like, it is the cheapest it's gonna be. Just buy it as its monthly price. You can't get it any better than that. So
yeah,
that's what I told her to do to get that. So it is popular. this news surprised me that Mike. And it sounds like it surprised you at the top of the show, but Warner Media, also by AT&T, is looking to sell most of the CW network off to somebody, another broadcast buyer.
Wow. This is I was not expecting this news. I mean, we were just talking about broadcast television at the top of the show. I didn't think it was going to pop up again.
Yeah. So the CW is home to The Flash and Legends of Tomorrow. What's that new Naomi, I believe, that just launched recently. So it looks like they're getting, apparently for the past like 4 years or so, it has been a non-profitable venture for them. They're not selling enough ad space for this. Nexstar is a local TV giant that's supposed to be in the running to buy them. So I put it in Nexstar. So Warner Brothers would keep when I say most, they would keep a minority stake in the CW and continue making the superhero shows until essentially they cancel them and everything moves to the HBO Max, if you will.
This kind of almost sounds like the move that they made with was it Discovery, right? What did they sell? They sold something to Discovery Plus, right?
Yeah. Like it was Discovery Plus, a split from them or something. Like they sold Discovery to somebody else. Was it I forget.
God, I don't remember.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But this does harken back to that news. I think that came out about a year ago. That their whole like venture. No, it was AT&T. AT&T was selling Warner Media to Discovery, but keeping a controlling stake. It almost seems like the same thing that's happening, but just like one step down the ladder. So I don't know. It's one just big corporate thing. But I mean, I'm not surprised to hear somebody divesting from network TV. It almost seems like radio, right? I was listening to the radio in my car the other day. And I was just like, radio's never going to go away because it's like so convenient and it's always there. It's just not always going to be as profitable for like a bigger company. Like, your favorite, top 100 hit station, right? Might not be super profitable. So maybe they'll sell the FM signal to like, I don't know, something else. Like I feel like it's always like Christian rock or something like that. Yeah. So it's always going to be there. It's just not going to be the game that they want to be in because it's all about distribution, right? You don't need to distribute over rabbit ears anymore. Everybody's got the internet. Well, at least most people have the internet. Yeah. So
I'll tell you, I was wrong. It wasn't 10 years. Apparently, since the UPN and WB merged in 06, I thought it said 06. The network has never been profitable, and literally all of its revenue has been doing from selling the international streaming rights and the online streaming rights for its originals such as Arrow, Flash, so on and so forth, including like Riverdale and so on and such. But Netflix purchased a lot of them, but that ended in 2019. Do you remember when like those shows used to go to Netflix like right after? And so now I believe they're going to Paramount Plus, but like there's been no money from it since they can't sell it streaming anymore. So my guess is, the CW will be relegated. It'll probably go to something else and be changed up quite a bit. What's on there within I think 5 years, all the superhero stuff will be gone or straight to HBO Max, which is sad. CW has been kind of a underdog in the world of this kind of like I said over the air stations, but I can't remember the last time I actually tuned in to watch anything live. It's run its course, whether or not
network television was going to continue exist or not, right?
Yeah. So and who knows if they don't sell it, what the game plan is. I don't know. So we'll keep you guys posted on how that's gonna shake down and what that's gonna look like over the years. I didn't know this, Mike, but on Thursday, Peacemaker is hitting HBO Max on Thursday, not Friday. I thought it was for Fridays.
That's moving day for me, which means I won't be able to watch Peacemaker on opening night.
And I wrote this down, but I'm pretty sure the first 3 episodes are dropping the first night as well. So all first 3 episodes are on January 13th, and then they'll be weekly until the end of February. So
all right, James Gunn, we're looking forward to seeing what you do serialized on a streaming service.
Yes, apparently he directed 5 of the episodes, with some other ones in there. Throughout, I've heard early reviews of the first 7, but they weren't given the 8 episodes. So I'm I'm gonna be checking this out. This dropping 3 at once thing seems to be a popular item, and we'll talk about something here a little bit else that's doing that at the end of this. But I mean, that's we'll have a month of Peacemaker, really the first TV show based on an actual what was it, the DC Extended Universe movies, right? Like this is the first time it's gone downwards.
Yeah, who knows if Peacemaker would ever, connect to like a Gotham show or the Green Lantern show or anything like that. I'm not making that assumption, right? This almost kind of seems like lightning in a bottle, right? Like James Gunn really liked what he was doing. He was having a lot of fun with his movie and his characters. Somebody at HBO Max approaches him and is just like, hey, you want to keep doing this? Like, yeah, I'll do a little series. So I'm not expecting a sequel, to the. I'm not expecting a season 2. I'm not expecting a crossover. So, but who knows? Maybe we'll get that.
8 episodes is pretty good. Like I said, he wrote this in the lockdown during the pandemic, right? So he had a lot of free time on his hands, and now he's back to Guardians of the Galaxy 3 in the holiday special. I mean, if they did a season 2, I don't think it would be James Gunn coming back, right? Like they were like, hey, we need to hand this off to somebody else to do it.
Yeah, they could hand it off.
But again, I think our concerns, we've talked about this from watching the Suicide Squad. Like the end of it, Peacemaker isn't really redeemed. He is a killer at the end of the day. Like he's like the worst one of the whole goddamn bunch, and he survives. So we'll see if this show brings any redemption to him as a person and character. Do you think they will have any cameos from the movie actors? That was my question, thinking about this. Like, oh, would Idris Elba show up, or
I mean, I would love to be surprised, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you are always hoping just for a good story and a good show, but I would love to be surprised and shocked by something. I'd welcome a cameo.
Yeah. Yep. And then also be on HBO Max compared to the CW, is what we're talking about. This lets the show have like I think it's like a mature rating, MA, for like blood language rather than like.
Oh yeah, we're seeing John Cena's ass. I feel like we've almost already have seen it in the trailers, but maybe it was in tidy whities. But yeah, you'll be seeing his butt.
Yeah. There's gonna be blood and curse words all over this movie, and an eagle, his pet eagle, Eagly. Batman: The Caped Crusader. This is an animated show they announced right a couple months ago, based on the animated TV show, but not a direct sequel. We've announced that Ed Brubaker, who's known for the comic book writer who wrote The Winter Soldier, who created Bucky Barnes as we know him now, has joined as the lead writer. Will head the writing room for this show, which is great.
Okay. All right, this was the Batman with the super pointy ears, right?
Yes, and it's got like, it's still like, I think it's like, it's not it's Dini, and who was the other guy who did it? Paul,
Bruce Timm.
Bruce Timm, yes. I always want to say, is it his first name Tim or his last name Tim? I think it's like kind of like, as Brubaker said, it's set in the past but viewed through a modern lens, so it'll have like the animated series had that like 1920s look, but it never said it was in the 1920s. And it, like, when we sat in that panel for what was it, the Batman Beyond, they talked about like literally the show was black paper with drawn on top of black paper, right? Colored on top of black paper. So it looks like it's going to be done the same way throughout the whole thing. So yeah. So are you familiar with Ed Brubaker at the end of the day? I mean, like, other than just like, he's known for other things other than just,
I mean, not super well, but it sounds like he's got credentials, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah. He's been big for Marvel. He wrote on Captain America. He has done Daredevil, Gotham Central for DC, stuff like that. So he's an Eisner Award-winning author. Literally, I can see just 7, 8, possibly 9 years of winning on here for his stuff. So I think it's always interesting when a writer moves from one medium to another. So hopefully it's fine. But since this is animated, I think he'll be fine. Like, it's not the same as live action with that. Keep an eye on it. And lastly, for the week here, The Boys season 3 has confirmed to start on June 3rd by dropping 3 episodes and then moving to a weekly format. Seems like Amazon is taking the weekly format approach finally with their shows.
Man, Amazon Prime is such a crazy streaming service. It's the streaming service I rarely open regularly, right? It's one of those things I don't browse. Like, something has to be on there for me to turn it on. But they know that. They know you already have Amazon Prime for like 2-day shipping. So they don't have to hit that weekly schedule or you'll cancel your service. So, yeah, I'm just waiting around for something to watch on there, right? I'm sure there's something great that, just, is not super buzzy and no one's talking about. But, yeah, I think The Boys... The Marvelous Miss Maisel, which is like already like a year behind due to the pandemic. What else do I watch over there? I mean, we were watching the Bosch show, but that's wrapped up.
Succession is on there.
That's Max. That's HBO Max.
Is it really? Oh. Mm-hmm. Maybe they moved to Prime. I'm sorry. I pulled up Prime videos. Maybe I look at Prime Originals. I know. Yeah. The biggest thing for them is Lord of the Rings. Like, Lord of the Rings is going to be their big thing. Judge Judy, her new show is now on here. Judy.
Oh,
Justice.
they had that show, The Wheel of Time.
Wheel of Time.
I watched that first episode and it was solid. Just never got back around to watching it.
Yep. Hannah was one of the shows they had on there. That Jack Reacher show, right? I believe. Good Omens is another one.
People did like Good Omens, so maybe that'll get people talking about Prime again. But it's the thing. They don't have to have people. You don't have to talk about it because Bezos knows you already got the subscription.
It's true. Yeah, exactly. And honestly, I think the biggest thing is, they're talking this Lord of the Rings show could easily be $1 billion for the first season to cost wise. And I'm like, that is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. Was the guy who plays Jim Halpert? I'm horrible with names today.
You're thinking of Jack Ryan.
Jack Ryan, was that on here? Was that
yeah, that was on there. It's okay. Jack Ryan is just okay. If your dad needs something to watch, tell him to go watch Jack Ryan.
Yeah. Well, I think they have the dad show on there, the Grand Tour. The
car one. Yeah, the
car guys. Mm-hmm. The what is it?
I can't think of the name. Top Gear, that's what it is.
Yeah, the Top Gear, their new shows on there. There's stuff on there for everybody. Like I said, we just don't go for it. The Boys is it. I'm also looking forward to whenever we get I almost feel like the Umbrella Academy is going to be either announced right before this or right after this. Like, we're going to go from one to the other because they're like almost in tandem these days for that. But yeah, that's around the corner as well, Mike. It's just a little bit of a short episode this week. Not a lot of news to go through, but I know you've been busy. You're exhausted for the week. You're about to go into an even more busier week. So we'll wrap this up. We'll get out of here. Let you go get your energy back, buddy. So people know what you're doing. Where can they find you at?
Well, they can find me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to catch up with you, where can they find your Fungin?
Oh, my Fungin can be found on Twitter, Valdan, VALDAN, or Instagram, Valdan87. People know about the show, about our reviews. I've got to go back and redo our list. I haven't updated since the Morbius delay. So I guess our next upcoming movie would be the Batman, right? Review. But everyone knows those are our regularly scheduled weekly show. Where can they find that at?
Oh, you can find that at superheroslate.com. That is the headquarters for everything we do here at the show. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, wherever else you love to listen to fine podcasts. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and get merch at superheroslate.com/store. We love it when you reach out. Let us know what you're watching and what you're looking forward to. To do. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I need to go eat some more ribs. That's what I gotta go do.
Gotta get this guy some food and some caffeine.
If you want to be a super fan of the show, it's so easy to do. Just share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy. Make sure you're boosted out there, people. It really helps you protect against the Omicron variant. And we love you, and we'll see you next week.
All right, we'll see you then.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.